My recorder was having some static issues in the first few seconds of this vlog, so I'm actually dubbing over just the static part. Yes, I currently have a cold, you can tell from my voice. No, it's not the Rona. So, this is my new-to-me Honda Rebel 250. I think it's a 2004. I'm making this vlog to say that never ever buy a used vehicle, or more specifically, a 1985 or newer used motorcycle in the state of Georgia that either has no title in it or a title that's already been signed over to someone else.
Vehicle. Alright, because what happened was I bought this off of Facebook Marketplace, and everything looked legit. They said they had the title. They said they had the title, and so we negotiated the price, and when I came to look at the title, it had the seller whose name was on the title signed it. The buyer section was signed by somebody, but that name, even though it was kind of a weird scribble, did not match the name in the block where you put your address and stuff, where you print your name and address. And I looked at it, and I should have walked away. So, lesson learned for me. I should have walked away from the deal, or asked them to take money off, because it would have taken me some effort to get it registered. But they said, nah, it's okay. Of course they would. So I go to the tag office, DMV, DPS, whatever you call, whatever you are, but this is Georgia, so they call it, it's referred to as the tag office. I think it's technically called DMV. But so I go to the tag office, and they said, oh, well, it's signed off to somebody else, so you're gonna have to get the original owner to sign an affidavit that says they changed their mind selling it to whoever signed the seller block, and they're selling it to you. I'm like, wow, that sucks. So I messaged the person I got it from, the person on Facebook Marketplace, and said, hey, can you send me the information for the original owner? Because their story was, it was the guy's dad's motorcycle, and his dad moved to Florida and signed it over to him to sell. So I said, hey, where's your, can you give me your dad's address, current address, because I'm thinking it's Florida, so I can mail him this affidavit so he can sign it and send it back to me so I can get this thing registered. No response. A day later, messaged him again, hey, can you send me the address of the previous owner? No message. Well, that was a red flag for me. So I did some investigation. Luckily luckily the title had all the information I needed of the previous owner. So I looked up the address, name and address of the previous owner, and was able to find some information on him. He owned a business, so I called the business, but when I tried calling the business, there was no answer. Or it said, this number is no longer available. So I said, well, crap. So I looked around some more, did some digging. Long story short, I was able to luckily find a phone number that was reference to his name at the address on the title. Oh, and I did a property tax search to make sure that the previous owner, the titled owner, didn't move or didn't sell his house. Luckily, there was no record of the house being sold, so I was hoping that maybe he had not passed away. So when I found the phone number, I called the phone number and it just went to voicemail. Not surprised, you know, I could have been a spam call or something. So I called the number, left my name and number, and said, please give me a call regarding this Honda Rebel that is titled in his name. And he actually called back. So we made contact, and he said, I sold that thing 15 years ago to my neighbor. So the guy in the name in the buyer's box on the title. Still getting used to this bike. So the name in the buyer's box was actually his old neighbor's. And apparently when he sold it to his old neighbor, his neighbor obviously never had it registered. So it languished for about 15 years. And it was apparently very well kept. I think his neighbor kept it in his garage or something, and the person I bought it from claimed they had it kept in a shed. But so after a somewhat long conversation with the titled owner, he said, well, what I can do is I can meet you at the tag office and see what they say about trying to get this thing registered in your name. I told him I totally appreciate that. I will be responsible for any, you know, fees or costs associated with just getting it right. So we met at the tag office, and you know, he's an older gentleman, so he reminisced about selling the bike, and then he remembered. It's like, oh, okay, you know, here's what happened. So he explained it to the tag office worker, and she was very, very nice, very accommodating, and she said, I know exactly what happened, so here's what we can do. So she got the affidavit that said he sold it to this guy back in whatever 15 years ago, and that guy never registered it. So there are no you know, anything that happened between then and now, he's not accountable for, and that I am now the new buyer. So then he signed it. I think I signed something, and boom, I got the registration. But if I had not been able to find that guy, if he had passed away, moved away, you know, or was just a total jerk and said, you know, that's your problem now, I would have been stuck with a I would have been stuck with a big paperweight. Now there would have been another alternative where I could have gotten what they call a title bond, but they said that would have been like a month-long process, basically reviewing the history, the vehicle history, to make sure that you know, nothing had been done, it wasn't stolen or anything like that. But you know, as far as I'm concerned now, it's legally mine, unless somebody can legally prove that it was stolen, which they probably can't because the title is now going to be in my name. But yeah, warning to all peoples everywhere, but more specifically the state of Georgia: if you buy a vehicle, a used vehicle, ask to look at the title before you make any purchase decisions. It's a lesson learned for me. I was maybe out $100 and a lot of time tracking down the original owner, but it worked out for me in the end. And I think the reason it happened to me is so I can spread the word so it doesn't happen to you. But I'm happy. I got the bike. I'm enjoying the ride. It's a nice bike, so it all worked out in the end for me. But yeah, watch out for shady sellers of used vehicles. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the ride. Later.